Here's some help with tonight's homework. Probability and statistics, stem and leaf, and line plots. On the stem and leaf plot side, I asked you to, depending on the class you're in, I asked you to do one or two of these stem and leaf plots. I think the toughest one on here might be number 3, so I'm going to do that one on the homework help video. The data goes from as low as 8 to as high as 31, I think, just glancing at this data. So I'm going to make my leaves the 1s digits and my stems the 10s digits. So set it up like this. The 10s digits go all the way from, well, for a number like 8, a single digit number like 8, the 10s digit would be 0. All the way up to the highest number is 31. So we're going to go 0s, 10s, 20s, and 30s. And then the leaves will be the individual data. Now I'm going to try to pick these off in numerical order and cross them out as I go. Looks like 8 is the smallest number, so 0, 8. And then the next smallest is 9. And then I have a 10 here. And 17, 18, 19, so 7, 8, 9. Remember, each of these represents its own number, so that's 10, this is 17, this is 18, and this is 19. Okay, for the 20s I have 20, 22, 26, 27, I made a mistake. There's two 22s here, so this should be another 2, then 26, then 27, and because if you have 22 occurring twice, you want that leaf to be shown twice. So we have 22 and another 22. And then in the 30s, I just have 31. Often on a stem and leaf plot, you'll also have a key. So I may say means 22, so that someone who was reading only my stem and leaf plot and not the original data would know that my stems represent the 10s digits and my leaves represent the 1s digits. I'm not going to make a line plot. There is an example at the top of the page on the other side how to make a line plot. So just follow that example to make one of these line plots, or 2 depending on the class you're in. But I do want to go back to the stem and leaf plot and answer, or take a look at this example stem and leaf plot and answer some of these questions. It's pretty easy once the data is arranged from lowest to highest to find the lowest score, 63. The highest score would be 10 in the 10s place, so that's 100, and with a 0 in the 1s place, so 100. There's 2 scores of 100 here. The highest score would be 100. That's the whole purpose of a stem and leaf plot and a line plot, is to organize the data and to show the frequency of different data points. How many students took the test? I'm not going to count them up, but if you count up, remember each one of these leaves is an individual data point, so you can count up how many leaves there are to figure out how many students took the test. Where did most of the test scores fall? You would look for the leaves that occur the most often, and that would be the mode of the data, and there could be more than one mode. In fact, in this case there are several, although now that I'm looking at it again, I think by where did most of the test scores fall, they mean in what, in which 10s place. So did most of the test scores occur in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 100s? And I think that's pretty obvious looking at that stem and leaf plot. The median or middle test score you would find by counting up how many test scores there are and finding the middle number. And then the mean would be, that's what I wanted to get to, is to talk about the mean. To find the mean, to average the scores, you would add up all the scores and divide by the number of scores. So you'd literally, and it's fine to do this on a calculator if you want, 63 plus 74 plus 75 plus 75 plus 78. You would just keep adding up all the scores, and then you would divide by the number of scores, and you counted the number of scores in problem number 6. So add up all the test scores and divide by the number of scores, and that will give you the mean or the average test score. All right, see you in the morning.